Hey guys, jace-burner here doing another Views and Forgotten because it's Tuesday and that's when I do my Views and Forgottens. Except for last week I did it on Wednesday because, well, I did it on Tuesday, didn't post it till Wednesday because YouTube was being a butthead. Anyway, we're going over what I think is the most dangerous card in Yu-Gi-Oh! And also one of the lesser known cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! You got Dice Jar, member of the Jar family. Probably the less known of all of them. You got Fiber Jar, Cyber Jar, Morphine Jar number 2, Cobra Jar, which doesn't really count as a jar, but has a jar in it, so I'm going to count it, Dimension Jar, and you got Dice Jar. The reason it's the most dangerous card is because of its effect, which is why most cards are considered so bad. I was around playing back when the Envoys were running wild, when you had the tier 0 decks of Chaos were Light and Darks, Painful Choice, Hand Control, Yada Locks, all that. So I know cards that are broke, and this thing isn't broke because it's dangerous. I mean, let's go over the stats here. You got Dice Jar, Light Attribute, level 3, Rock Effect, 200 attack, 300 defense. Not very impressive stats. Effect, though, is where he gets you. Flip effect, both players roll a 6-sided die once. The player with the lowest result takes equal to their opponent's result times 500 life points. However, if a winner's result is 6, the loser takes 6,000 points of damage. If the results are the same, both players roll again. If you take 6,000 points of damage by effect or attack, you're probably going to lose. That's 2,000 points left. And with Solemn Warnings and Solemn Judgments, you're paying that much, and that's getting hit with a 2,000 attack point monster. That's easy to lose with. The reason it's dangerous and not broke is if it was broke, it means that would only affect your opponent, not affect you. The reason it's dangerous is that you could hit yourself with 6,000 points. And no one uses this card probably for that reason. It's completely ridiculous, the fact that you could kill yourself or you can kill your opponent in one roll. Everything is on the line. I use this in my Warrior Burn deck because I do 2,000 points of damage pretty much right off the bat. But if I get hit with 6,000 points, I am in a huge hole right then. Because my cards don't affect me usually, but they do affect my opponent. The thing is, it's a strictly defensive deck, and piercing would kill me. This is ridiculous. I mean, you have a minimum chance of 1,000 points, which is quality damage. The reason it's a minimum because if you roll a 1, you're not going to win. Because your opponent is either going to roll a 1 or higher, and therefore you have to roll again. So the 2 would be 1,000. A 3 would be 1,500. A 4 would be 2,000. A 5 would be 2,500. And then 6, let's more than double that damage and do 6,000 points to somebody. You can run this in 3s if you really feel lucky. I mean, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. Although there is a card I think would work with it, with Spell of Pain. Spell of Pain, not Spell of Pain. Spell of Pain sounds like a really bad drug that you would use to get rid of a headache. Just take some Spell of Pain, you'll be fine. Spell of Pain, because whenever an effect is activated that does damage to you, I think is what it says, you can inflict it to your opponent instead. Or whenever you, I think it says whenever you take effect damage, inflict it to your opponent instead. If it says if it has to be activated, then that probably won't work because since there's a chance you might take it and a chance your opponent might take it, you can't chain it to it. It's a similar ruling to why Stardust can't do certain things. But Spell of Pain would be awesome with Dice Jars. Flip Dice Jar, you take 6,000, play Spell of Pain, your opponent takes 6,000. That's how simple that is. So yeah, I'm probably going to remake my Flaming Warrior deck just so I can include 3 Dice Jars with it in Spell of Pain and just dish out massive damage to my opponent. But it's a dangerous card. Normally I would say try it out, put it in a deck, see how you like it. That's only if you're running a chance deck where you have the ability to re-roll something. But this card does not have a place in every deck. it barely has a place in effect damage decks. I run them because I'm insane. But yeah, this card is ridiculously dangerous. I don't recommend anybody use them. This is probably the first time I'll ever say that about a card that isn't broke. This is because this is a dangerous card. You'll wind up killing yourself more times than you'll kill your opponent probably. Anyway, if you have a suggestion of a card that you'd like me to give its day on Abused and Forgotten, message me, comment something, and I'll try and put on the list of things I have. I do have a list that I'm doing, and if your card is really good, I'll probably bump it up to the top. I've done it before. But yeah, I give every card stay here on Abused and Forgotten, and that's what I did here. This is jace-burner signing off. Peace, deuces.